Hello everyone. Today's topic is fatty acids and lipids, and myself, Dr. A. Madhuri from Government Degree College for Women, Begumpet. Now let us understand what are fatty acids. Fatty acids are basic units of lipids. These fatty acids are having a long hydrocarbon chain, and at the end it will have a carboxylic acid group. In the diagram it is more clear. This is the diagram of fatty acid, right? This is the length of carbon chains. At one end we are having carboxylic acid group, and continued by a length of carbon chains which are saturated. So here we are seeing the saturated hydrocarbon chain. It can be saturated, or it can be unsaturated also. These are different depictions of diagrams of fatty acid. Now, the simplest lipids are the fatty acids, which rarely exist alone in nature, but instead are usually a component of more complex lipids. Okay, so as we know, the amino acids are the basic components of proteins. In the similar way, fatty acids are the basic components of lipids. Okay, this point is very clear, as amino acids are basic components of proteins. Fatty acids are basic components of lipids. In other words, lipids are constructed by fatty acids. Right. Now, the simplest lipids are the fatty acid. This lipid molecule can be more very small and more simple like fatty acid, but it can be more complex also. Very lengthy chains will be there. Now, fatty acids are carboxylic acids with a long hydrocarbon chain attached. In the previous slide, we have seen at one end of the carbon hydrocarbon chain we have seen that carboxylic acid group is there. Although the acid end is polar, the non-polar hydrocarbon tail makes fatty acids insoluble in water. So we see that usually lipids or fats or oils, they are not soluble in water. So that insoluble nature of fatty acids or lipids or fats is due to presence of non-polar hydrocarbon tail. Okay, this insolubility in water is due to presence of non-polar hydrocarbon tail. But in the same molecule we are able to see carboxylic acid, right? Acid group is there, so that acid group is polar, right? So one end is polar and the remaining part and the other end is non-polar, right? So one end is can interact with the water, and the other end it is hydrophobic in nature or insoluble in nature, or sometimes it is sparingly soluble. Now, as I said just now, fatty acid will have hydrophobic hydrocarbon chain with a terminal carboxyl group. Here you can see this is n represents any number 1 to 100 or more than 100 also. Okay, it can be any number. So this shows the length of this carboxylic this chain hydrocarbon chain is represent the length of the hydrocarbon chain is represented by n here. Okay, so whatever the length of this chain may be, this part of the fatty acid is hydrophobic in nature. Okay, what do you mean by hydrophobic? Hydro means water, phobic means hating. Okay, it is hating water, means it is phobia means fear. Okay, so it is not loving water, it does not interact with water, this part of the fatty acid. We're coming to the other part. This is the carboxylic acid group or COO minus. This part is polar in nature and it is hydrophilic in nature. Hydrophilic means, again, hydro means water, philic means loving, right? So this part is hydrophilic and this part is hydrophobic in nature. This part, COO or carboxylic acid, is ionized at pH 7. Ionized means it is forming an ion. It is forming an ion. Ion can be positive or negative. But in carboxylic acid molecule, definitely it will form a negative ion, that is COO minus. When the pH is 7, it will be in the form of, it won't be in the form of COOH, but it will be in the form of COO minus. Next, so now come till now we understood what are fatty acids. Now we have to understand what are the different types of fatty acids. Here we can see fatty acids are of two types. One is saturated and the other one is unsaturated. In the first slide itself we have discussed, showing that carbon chain. So it can be saturated or unsaturated. Now you have to understand the meaning of these terms here. Saturated means we have seen a long hydrocarbon chain. Okay, when we can call an hydrocarbon as saturated, when all the bonds are fulfilled, or when there is no double bond or triple bond, we can call it as saturated. When there is double bond or triple bond, we have to call it as unsaturated. So this is the difference between these saturated and unsaturated fatty acids. Now, these unsaturated fatty acids again are of two types: monounsaturated fatty acids and polyunsaturated fatty acids. Now, what is the difference between these two? Mono means one, poly means one. Monounsaturation means at single place we can see that double bond or triple bond in the entire molecule. Then that type of fatty acids are called as monounsaturated fatty acids, whereas polyunsaturated fatty acids means, poly means many. So at many places we are able to see unsaturation, that is presence of double bond or triple bond. Hope you are clear with this slide. So again revising, fatty acids are of two types: saturated and unsaturated, and unsaturated are in turn of two types: monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. Next, fats that are solid at room temperature are made up mainly of saturated fatty acids. Now, uh, in our home, we usually use oils and what do you say? Dalda, some fat, ghee kind of thing. Okay. So some fats will be in the solid form. Main you can take dalda, right? It will be in a solid form at room temperature. Some fats like oils, they will be at in the liquid form at room temperature. So why? What is the reason behind this difference between the components? Okay, now let us see. Fats that are solid at room temperature are made up of mainly saturated fatty acids. So just now we have seen the fats are of two types, or lipids are of two types: saturated and unsaturated, right? So if a compound is saturated fatty acids, it will be solid at room temperature. If the compound is having unsaturated fatty acids, it will be liquid at room temperature. This is the important point to be remembered. Okay, if it is having saturated fatty acids, it will be solid. If it is having unsaturated fatty acids, it will be liquid. You can remember by the initial letter S and S: saturated, solid. If it is not S, then it will be liquid, right? Next, coming to the saturated fatty acids. So, what will be the physical nature of saturated fatty acids? Yes, it will be solid, right? Now, let us see here. They appear to rise the level of LDL, that is bad cholesterol, in the bloodstream, right? So, here itself we understand that taking intake of saturated fatty acids is not good for health, okay, because they are increasing bad cholesterol in our bloodstream. What are the food sources which are having saturated fatty acids? Are meat, poultry skin, whole milk, dairy products, and the tropical oils: coconut oil, palm oil, and palm kernel oil. So these are the food sources which are believed to have saturated fatty acids, which can cause some health problem by increasing bad cholesterol in our blood. Coming to the polyunsaturated fatty acids, fats that seem to lower total cholesterol levels. As we have seen in the previous slide, saturated fatty acids are increasing bad cholesterol, whereas unsaturated fatty acids, they lower the cholesterol levels in our body. So we have to go for polyunsaturated fatty acids. Now, what are the food sources of polyunsaturated fatty acids? Is many vegetable oils, corn oil, soybean oil, and safflower oil. So we have to prefer these oils in our food to be healthy and safe. Now, this is corn oil, contains 86% polyunsaturated fatty acids. Therefore, it is a liquid at room temperature. As we have seen, the, as it is having polyunsaturated fatty acids, it is good for health. And this olive oil contains monounsaturated fatty acids, therefore liquid at room temperature, likely to solidify when refrigerated. When we keep this olive oil in the fridge, it can get solidified. Saturated fatty acids are solids or nearly solids at room temperature. So this is the saturated fatty acids, which can be solids or nearly solids at the room temperature. Now, let us study about physical properties of these saturated fatty acids first. Okay. Um, Saturated fatty acids have molecules that fit closely together in a regular pattern. Okay. So this here, what I mean to say is, uh, whatever molecules are there, fatty acids are there in a particular lipid, okay, they are closely packed to each other, right? There are strong attractions between fatty acid chain. They are closely packed because they are solids at room temperature. That is the reason why they are solids at room temperature, due to this strong attractions. Due to these strong attractions, there is a high melting point that make them solid at room temperature. Okay, as they are more attractive to each other and they are closely packed molecules, that is the reason why they are solids at room temperature and they are showing higher melting points. And that is why they are solids at room temperature. Now, these are the structures and melting points of common fatty acids. Now, let us see the melting points of some saturated fatty acids. This capric acid, carbon length is 10 carbon atoms are there. This is the carboxylic acid group, and this is the melting point, that is 32. And where we can see is saw palmetto. In this food we can get this capric acid. And coming to lauric acid, which is having 12 carbon chain length, hydrocarbon chain, and the melting point is 43. We can get this compound from coconut. And myristic acid, which is having 14 carbon chains, is having 54 melting point, and we can get it from nutmeg. Similarly, palmitic acid is having 16 carbon length, and it is having melting point of 62, and we can get this fatty acid from animal fat, palmitic acid palm. Stearic acid is having 18 carbon chain length, and we can melting point is 69. We can get from animal fat. And next is arachidinic acid. It is having 20 carbon chain length, and the melting point is 76, and we can get this from peanut oil, vegetables, and fish oils. So in this slide you can observe one thing, that is, as the carbon chain length is increasing, the melting point is also increasing. Okay, the longer the molecule, the more is the melting point. The longer the molecule, there are attractions between the molecules is more. That is why bonding is more, hence a melting point is more. Now, similarly, unsaturated fatty acids are having non-linear chains that do not allow molecules to pack closely. So in the previous slides, we can see these are the linear molecules. Okay, when the linear molecules are packed on besides each other, they can pack very closely, whereas here in unsaturated fatty acids the chains are non-linear. Just look at this chain. This is not a linear chain, it is a unlinear chain or non-linear chain. So this is the reason why the fatty acids are not packed closely. They are very loosely held in this compound. Now there are weak attractions, that is dispersion forces between fatty acid chains. So attractions is very weak here, and low melting points, and so are liquid at room temperature. So when they are not packed closely, the melting point is very low. Since that is the reason these compounds are liquids at room temperature. So I'm revising once again. Saturated fatty acids are packed closely and melting point is high, and they are solids at room temperature, whereas unsaturated fatty acids, they do not have linear structures, so they are not closely packed, hence the melting point is less, and they are liquids at room temperature. Here we got one example, oleic acid, melting point is 13 degrees, so room temperature will be around 20 to 25 to 30 degrees, so definitely it will be in liquid form at room temperature. Now, here we can see the structures and melting points of unsaturated fatty acids. Similarly, in the previous slide, we have seen this same details for saturated fatty acids. Now, let us see for unsaturated fatty acids. First one is monounsaturated fatty acids. Mono means, I told you, here in this compound we'll have double bond at a single position. At one place it is having double bond, or single double bond is present here. For example, palmitolic acid. Okay, here the carbon chain length is 16 carbons, and it is having a single double bond, and melting point is 0. Melting point is 0. Source is butter. So palmitolic acid we are getting from butter, and its melting point is 0. And oleic acid is having 18 chain carbon length. It is also having single double bond, and the melting point of this oleic acid is 13 degrees. We can get this oleic acid from olives and corn. Next category is polyunsaturated fatty acids. Here we have linoleic acid and linolenic acid and arachidonic acid. If you see here, linoleic acid and linolenic acid both are having same carbon chain length 18 and 18, and we are talking about polyunsaturated, means the double bonds are more than one. Double bonds are more than one. So linoleic acid is having two double bonds, linolenic acid is having three double bonds, right? So both the carbons or both the fatty acids, they are composed of same number of carbons, that is 18. Linoleic acid and linolenic acid both are having same number of carbon atoms, but linoleic acid is having two double bonds and linolenic acid is having three double bonds. This is the important point. And coming to the melting points, as linoleic acid is having two double bonds, melting point is only -9, whereas linolenic acid with three double bonds is having melting point as -17. And linoleic acid we can get from soybean, safflower and sunflower oils, and linoleic acid is present in corn oil. And next is arachidonic acid. Arachidonic acid is having 20 carbon chain length in hydrocarbon chain, and we can see here four double bonds are present, and the melting point is -50. So if you see here, as the number of double bonds or as the extent of polyunsaturation is increasing, or the double bonds are increasing, the melting point is going down. Okay, when you are writing in minus sign, with minus sign, as the number increases, it means that melting point is further decreasing. If there is no negative sign, we can consider that it is increasing, but here, as it is having negative sign, the melting point is decreasing. Along with these fatty acids, we have cyclic fatty acids and hydroxyl fatty acids. Cyclic fatty acids means uh, till now we have seen linear fatty acids. If the molecule of this fatty acid is if it is in a cyclic fashion, okay, then we have to call it as cyclic fatty acid. And this fatty acid is seen in oil called as chalmugra oil. And hydroxyl fatty acids, hydroxyl means OH group. If a fatty acid is having hydroxyl group, then we have to call it as hydroxyl fatty acid. These fatty acids are seen in nisinolic acid, that is castor oil, and dihydroxystearic acid. Okay, so these are the additional types of fatty acids to saturated and unsaturated. These are the special types of fatty acids. Now coming to the general properties of fatty acids. First, melting point. We have seen melting point of many compounds in the previous slides. Next is oxidation of fatty acids, and then hydrogenation, then halogenation, salt formation, and ester formation. Now, so melting point we have seen. Oxidation means addition of oxygen group onto fatty acids. Hydrogenation means addition of hydrogen. Halogenation means addition of halogen, that is chlorine, bromine, anything. And salt formation, conversion of this fatty acid into a salt. And ester formation is adding of ester group onto fatty acids. We'll be dealing in detail in the later slides. So we have to understand what is a triglyceride. Till now we have seen only the structure of fatty acid. This part we have seen. Now we have to understand what is a triglyceride, because triglyceride is a basic unit of lipids. Now, what is triglyceride? Triglyceride, first in the term tri. Tri means three. What are three here? Fatty acids are three. Okay, three fatty acids are there. That is why tri. Glyceride means to the molecule of glycerol, three fatty acids are attached. That is why we are calling it as triglyceride. Okay, tri means three fatty acids are attached to glycerol molecule. Then we are calling it as a triglyceride. So these triglycerides are the main constituents of natural fats and oils. Whatever oils and fats we are seeing in these fats and oils, the triglycerides are present. A triglyceride is an ester formed from glycerol and three fatty acid groups. A triglyceride or triglycerol, we can even call this as triglycerol. It is an ester formed from glycerol and three fatty acid groups. In the diagram we have seen, this is an ester formed from glycerol and three fatty acids. So here we got one triglyceride. This is the glycerol molecule. Basically in glycerol, it is a three carbon compound where to all the carbons there is a OH group attached. Okay, this is the basic structure of the glycerol with three OH groups on three carbons. Right. So to the carbon, OH group is converted into ester group here, and this is the chain, hydrocarbon chain, that or this is a fatty acid attached to the glycerol on the first carbon. This is the next fatty acid to the second carbon, and this is the third fatty acid to the third carbon of glycerol. Okay, if you see the structure of these fatty acids, you can call it as a saturated, because there is no double bond or triple bond anywhere in this molecule. We can't see any unsaturation. That is why it is a saturated fatty acid. This is also a saturated one. And coming here, we can see double bonds here and there. So we have to call it as unsaturated fatty acid. So basically this is a triglyceride. Now, triglycerols are tri-fatty acid esters of glycerol. We have understood. Triglycerols are the major form of fatty acid storage in plants and animals. So whatever fatty acids or whatever waxy substances we are seeing in plants, and oils or fats we are seeing in animals, all these compounds are made of triglycerols or triglycerides. triglycerols can be classified as fats or oils. Okay, fats are solids at room temperature and mostly come from animals. Fats are coming from animals. Oils are liquid at room temperature and we can get them from plants. That is palm oil and coconut oil. Right. Now, this is the glycerol. As I said in the previous slide, this is the structure of the glycerol. Three carbons will be there. To the three carbon molecules, three OH groups are attached. Now, in triglycerol, triacyl glycerol, what is happening is, in place of this hydrogen is replaced by fatty acid molecule, giving us a triglycerol or triglyceride. And the bond present between glycerol and the fatty acid is called as ester bond. This point is important. Okay, the bond is ester bond present between glycerol and the fatty acid, the connecting bond. Okay, this you can say it as a connecting bond. So this is ester bond. Now coming to the lipids. What is a lipid? A compound that is insoluble in water but soluble in an organic solvent is called as a lipid. So this is the basic definition of a lipid. Okay, so when we can call compound as a lipid is when it is not soluble in water but soluble in organic solvents. Okay, now lipid is synonymous with fat but also includes phospholipids, sterols, etc. Now whenever we say the word lipid, we feel that it is we are talking about fats and oils. Okay, so not only fats or oils, some other compounds are also included, such as phospholipids, sterols, which include hormones, etc. Here. So chemical structure is we have seen in the previous slide. It is always glycerol plus fatty acid. Now, it is a equation here, chemical reaction here. Glycerol and three fatty acids we are getting triglyceride. Now, what are the nutritional uses of lipids? Lipids are we get energy from the lipids, right? As we take them in food, they give us energy. Okay, what are the other functions? They provide means whereby fat soluble nutrients can be absorbed by the body. But this is one of the major function of our body, which is very very important. If we do not consume fats, it will be a problem to absorb some fat soluble components in our blood. Okay, so in other words, this fats or lipids, they are helping us in absorbing some crucial nutrients, sterols, vitamins, etc., which are fat soluble. Okay, when we eat fat, then only these vitamins or sterols get dissolved in this fat and we can our body can absorb them. Next, it is the structural element of cell and subcellular components. If we see the ultrastructure of a bacterial cell or our own cell or any membrane you take, cell membrane, it will have lipids. Okay, definitely the membrane is made of proteins and lipids. Even the subcellular components also, inside the cell also there will be membranous structures, right? So that membranes are also made of these lipids. Not only membranes, even other components are also made of lipids. Components of hormones and precursors for prostaglandin synthesis. As I told, steroids are hormones. They are the components of some of the lipids. They are hormones also, and they are also acting as precursors for prostaglandin synthesis. For the compound prostaglandin synthesis, lipids are helpful. Now, till now we have seen what are fatty acids, what are triglycerides, right? Triglycerides are the basic units of lipids. Now let us see what are lipids or what is the classification of lipids. Here we are having three categories: simple lipids, compound lipids, and derived lipids. Okay, again I am repeating: simple lipids are homolipids, compound lipids are heterolipids, and derived lipids. Simple. So here let us see simple lipids are homo means all of one type. Okay, okay. Now, these simple lipids are of two types. They are fats and oils and waxes. Fats and oils are they are having simple triglycerides and even mixed triglycerides. Waxes, we can see them in sperm whale wax, beeswax, and carnauba wax. These are the examples for waxes. So whatever fats, oils we are seeing, they are of simple lipids type, and waxes are also of simple lipids type. Now, coming to the next category, that is compound lipids or heterolipids. These heterolipids, the name hetero means different types of lipids are here. Okay, or you can say they are constructed of different types of fatty acids. Okay, so phospholipids, first one is phospholipids and the other one is glycolipids. Phosphate group is attached to here. Carbohydrates are attached to the lipids. So phospholipids are examples are phosphatids, phosphoglycerides, lecithin, cephalins, plasmalogens, and phosphoinositides and phosphosphingosides. All these are phospholipids. Next is glycolipids. Glycolipids include cerebrosides, kerosene, phrenosine, nervone, and oxynervone. Okay, so here we are able to understand heterolipids or compound lipids are of two types, that is phospholipids and glycolipids. Phospholipids, when we call them as phospholipids, when phosphate group is attached to the lipids. Glycolipids are when carbohydrate group is attached to the lipids. These are different types of examples for these categories. Next is derived lipids. Derived lipids means they are we can say in one form they are derived from homolipids and heterolipids. Okay, so here examples are steroids, terpenes, and carotenoids. Okay, so steroids, we can the examples are cholesterol, alcosterol, cholestanol, etc. Um, Here we can see the carbon chain is of C29, C28, and C27, and C24 carbon steroids, and C21, C19, and C18 steroids. Whatever they are steroids. Next category is terpenes, and next is carotenoids. Terpenes examples are monoterpenes, sesquiterpenes, diterpenes, etc. And carotenoids include lycopene, carotenes, and xanthophylls. Here, if you see these carotenoids, we come across in plants. They are responsible for different colors in the plant leaves or plant parts, right? So this is overall classification of lipids. Lipids are of three types: simple lipids or homolipids, compound lipids or heterolipids, and derived lipids. So simple fatty acids or simple lipids, they are here fatty acids are esterified with glycerol. We have seen in the chart also there is a glycerol molecule which is having three fatty acids. Next is compound lipids or heterolipids. They are same as the simple lipids but with other compounds also. Okay, we have seen phospholipids and glycolipids. Phospholipids means they are having phosphoric acid and nitrogen. Example lecithin, and glycolipids, they are having carbohydrate with CHO group but no nitrogen is there. They are having carbohydrates or carbohydrates attached to the fatty acids. And derived lipids, substances derived from the above derived by hydrolysis. Well, if the above compounds break down and they give other substances, they're called as derived lipids. And sterols, they are large molecular weight alcohols found in nature and combined with fatty acids. For example, cholesterol. Okay, so sterols are having larger molecular weight. Now, each type of lipids will go in detail. First is simple lipids. As we have seen fats and oils and waxes, fats and oils, they are having fatty acids and glycerol. Difference is only physical between these fatty acids and oils. Coming to the waxes, we can see in plants, they are having esters of fatty acids and alcohol other than glycerol. Cetyl alcohol is most commonly used of these waxes. And coming to the term rancidity, we have come across this term rancidity many times. What do you mean by rancidity? Is it is the unpleasant odor and taste of the lipids or fats when it is kept for longer time. And um, these lipids are also includes enzymes. Um, this rancidity is due to enzymes, different enzymes, which can cause unpleasant odor and taste in this lipids. These enzymes are carrying out the reactions in this order. They can cause oxidation, which results in peroxides and aldehydes. And rancidity increases by exposing it to light, and reducing agents if, are hydroquinone stop oxidative rancidity. If we use hydroquinone in, if we mix hydroquinone in any fats or oils, this rancidity can be stopped. Oxidative rancidity can be stopped. So rancidity is of two types, hydrolytic and oxidative. Here the term hydro means water, lytic means breaking of the molecule in presence of water is called as hydrolytic, and oxidative means addition of oxygen to the compound. So rancidity can be hydrolytic and oxidative. Hydrolytic, in hydrolytic rancidity, definitely there will be growth of microbes because there is water here, so which is suitable for the growth of microbes. And lipase splits triglycerides. We have heard about the enzyme lipase. Okay, lipase is the one which breaks down the lipids. So this lipase, basically what it will do is it splits the triglycerides. We have seen the structure of triglyceride, glycerol attached with three fatty acids. This lipase will split that molecule. And this rancidity will be enhanced by moisture and warm temperature. Definitely when the moisture content is increased in any oil or fat, the growth of microorganism will be more and rancidity will be more. And coming to the warm temperature, when we increase the temperature above 30 degrees, it will become more favorable for microorganisms, and they can grow easily, and they will lead to this rancidity. Coming to the oxidative rancidity, it is due to unsaturated fatty acids converting into peroxides and aldehydes and ketones, further into aldehydes and ketones. So this reaction process or this breakdown process will give this bad smell or unpleasant odor in this fats. Next is vegetable fats. In vegetable fats, we can see vitamin E, C, phenols, hydroquinone, tannin, etc. If we add these compounds in vegetable fats, they will prevent this rancidity. Coming to complex or compound lipids, esters of fatty acids plus alcohol plus other groups like phosphate, nitrogenous base, carbohydrate, protein, etc. are called as complex lipids or compound lipids. Okay, so we have to remember that definitely along with triglyceride there will be alcohol group, and in addition to alcohol group there are other groups such as phosphate, nitrogenous bases, carbohydrates or protein. Based on the group present, they are further classified into phospholipids. So first one is phosphate, right? So when we add phosphate to these complex lipids, it will become phospholipid. So here we can make out what are present in phospholipids. Definitely fatty acid will be there, alcohol will be there, and phosphoric acid as a nitrogen base. Based on the type of alcohol present, they are again divided into. So based on the type of alcohol, this component is again dividing these phospholipids into glycerophospholipids and sphingophospholipids. What are these glycerophospholipids? They contain glycerol as alcohol. Example, lecithin and cephalin. Coming to other category, that is sphingophospholipids, they contain sphingosine as alcohol. Example, sphingomyelin. Again, revising this part, compound lipids are having along with the alcohol different groups. For example, phosphate, nitrogen base, etc. Coming to the first category, which is having Along with fatty acid and alcohol, they are having phosphoric acid. So these phospholipids are of two types based on the alcohol. Okay, glycerophospholipids and sphingophospholipids. In glycerophospholipids, alcohol is glycerol, and in sphingophospholipids, alcohol is sphingose. Now, phospholipids. Just now we have seen same thing here represented in a form of diagram. This is the glycerol, these are the fatty acids, and this is the phosphate group. They frequently have nitrogen containing bases. And phospholipids are of two types, glycerophospholipids and sphingophospholipids. Okay, in glycerophospholipids, as we have seen in the chat, there is a glycerol here and phosphate and alcohol. In sphingophospholipids, there is a sphingosine here. To this sphingosine, fatty acid is attached and phosphate and choline are present. Again, one more slide to represent the same. Alcohol here is a glycerol and the alcohol here is a sphingosine. And these are the examples which are covered under both these categories. So here we can see in the cytoplasm, as I told you, membranes are composed of lipids, okay, or lipoproteinaceous membranes will be there. There will be proteins as well as lipids. So whenever lipids are there, they are usually lipid bilayer will be there. These are two layers. This is the hydrophilic head and these are the hydrophobic tail which are present towards inner side, and these are the hydrophilic heads covering this hydrophobic tails in the center. This is the membrane structure, and this lipid molecule or hydrophilic part is generally phospholipid. It is a phospholipid. So this is the same phospholipid which we are talking about. Okay, this is the phospholipid which is present in this membranes. Now, this is phosphatide molecule. It is another name is phosphatidylcholine or lecithin. Okay, this is the fatty acid. This is the phosphate group. Next, coming to the second category, that is glycolipids. Glycolipids, as the name suggests, glyco means carbohydrates. So here fatty acids, alcohol and carbohydrates are present, and they contain sphingosine as alcohol and known as glycosphingolipids. If they are having sphingosine in the form in the place of alcohol, then they are also called as glycosphingolipids. Examples are cerebrosides and gangliosides, which are present in nerve cells. Next is third category is lipoproteins. Lipoproteins, as I said, they are present in the membranes, molecular complexes of lipids with proteins. Example, LDL, VLDL, chymotrypsin. These are all coming under cholesterol. And here you can see structure of different compounds: phosphatidic acid, phosphatidyl ethanolamine, and phosphatidyl choline. Okay, this is the phosphate group. These are glycerol fatty acids. Phosphate. Okay, here ethanolamine group is attached to the phosphate and this fatty acids. Here choline group is attached. Okay, so the different names of the compounds based on the functional group present here in these compounds. Next is sphingophospholipids. What are sphingophospholipids? Sphingophospholipids are having sphingosine molecule to this. One is acyl residue is attached and the other side phosphorus and choline are attached. In the second compound, that is sphingomyelin, we can see the fatty acids along with this phosphate group is attached. Coming to the next category, that is glycolipids. Glycolipids are having fatty acid, alcohol, carbohydrate with nitrogen base. They do not contain any phosphate group. Examples is we have seen cerebrosides and gangliosides. Next to the third category, when we have seen the classification of the lipids, in the last category is derived lipids, and we have also learned that when we can call them as derived lipids is when we are getting that when these lipids are derived from simple lipids or complex lipids. Okay, examples are fatty acids, steroids, cholesterol, vitamin A and D. So definitely when the molecules break down, they will definitely lead to fatty acids or steroids or cholesterol or other vitamins. Now, so basically they are by hydrolysis. Okay, hydrolysis means, lysis means breaking in presence of water into simple or compound lipids. So these include lipid soluble vitamins, steroid hormones, hydrocarbons, ketone bodies, mono and diacyl glycerol, etc. So these are the lipid derived lipids formed by hydrolysis of the simple or complex lipids. So in this one is steroids. Now let us understand some more about steroids. So in steroids, parent nucleus is cyclopentane perhydrophenanthrin. Okay, in short, we have to write it as CPPP. Okay, in steroids, parent nucleus is CPPP ring. Okay, full form is cyclopentane perhydrophenanthrin ring. Next, here in this A, B, C, six-membered rings will be there, and D, five-membered rings. So in steroids, we have to remember how many rings will be there? Four rings. Okay, A, B, C, and D. A, B, C are six-membered rings, and D is a five-membered ring. So this with these details, we can see the example: cholesterol, sex hormones, vitamin D, adrenocortical, etc. All of these are steroids. Uses of cholesterol are steroids. They are helpful in absorption of fatty acids. They form bile salts. They are the part of the cell membranes. Uh, we can get vitamin D on exposure to UV, and Diospora, diosgenin. They are responsible for anti-fertility, and progesterone, estradiol, testosterone. All these are hormones. Coming to the cholesterol structure, this is the cholesterol structure. We are having three full rings and three hexane rings, and one is a pentane ring. So with this, we can wind up the session. So in this session, we have understood different. First, we have started with fatty acids, and then we have understood what is a triglyceride. Then we have understood what is lipid, what are the different types of lipids, right? In the types of lipids, we have seen simple lipids, compound lipids, and derived lipids. We have seen the structure as well as examples of different types of lipids. We could understand by this session why some of the compounds are liquid, some of the lipids are liquid at room temperature, and some of them are why solids at room temperature, why they what is the concept of saturation and unsaturation. Saturated lipids are solids, and unsaturated lipids are liquids. All these things we could easily understood by this session. So thank you for your patient hearing.